I hope you can hear and see me well because I'm on the road and I'll be back in 2 days. Now, I should have done a video last night. I'm doing one this morning. It's the same thing. The market opens in 2.5 hours. We have gold, and look at this, 2,800 just now. So gold is at new all-time highs. Amazing. It was a little obvious when we got to here because, I think I said this in my last video, this breakdown, and yet on the ascending, we climbed our way back up. What's that for? Just to go up here, touch and go back down? No, this is like a triple top. They very, very rarely hold in terms of resistance. Bam, we broke out. Then we've got this continuation. I thought there'd be maybe a tiny bit of resistance here. Maybe it lasted one day. In the end, we go all the way up. There's this little handle, like we touch, we test just before 2,800. And then bam, yesterday was just best close ever. Now we're here. Where do we go next? Well, 3,000, obviously. Do we go straight away? Yeah, I think we do because well, let's look at the dollar, right? I don't usually start off like this, but all this happened with the dollar not going down. I'm talking about the last 2 days. The dollar's irrelevant. The dollar's been climbing like an animal, and yet we recovered that drop and went to new highs. So the dollar is irrelevant. I prefer it to go up. I say it all the time because if gold's going to go up with the dollar, amazing. Plus, our stocks, they're priced in dollars. The companies make more money because of that also because they work in different countries, Canada, whatever, Australia. So it's the best case scenario to have the dollar and gold go up. And the dollar's irrelevant, to be honest. There are times where it's irrelevant. It's happened more recently in the last couple of 1 or 2 or 3 years. So it's just good to see in the background that it really is irrelevant. Same with yields. The yields are following the dollar. Yields going up, but inflation's higher. So in real terms, you have negative interest rates. That's probably also why the gold, in the grand scheme of things, is also going up. So gold, absolutely delicious. Silver, it's all about silver now, right? We know gold has made it and it's going to 3,000. Everyone knows it. What about silver? Because silver, we had gold really strong. Silver was still down here. Now we've got exactly what we need. We've got that catch up. I said at 2,800 we should be here. I think I said that anyway. And if I didn't, I meant to. We should be there. Today we should be at 32.25 or whatever. We should be there, right? Now, as we start our march to 3,000, silver will start filling this little gap here. All right, this $35. So what I'm looking for today is silver to just outperform gold, as long as gold really does, close at like 28.20 or whatever, just actually have a green day by the end. Silver needs to go here, and then it needs to start moving up here. And that is very nice because that's a nice big move, right? That's like, and also we're going to look at the stocks too, but look at this, right? That's 1%, but to go all the way up here, that's 10%. Let's look at the ETF for the stocks. I'll start off with GDX. All right, so first of all, this is absolutely extraordinary. I love this. It would have been better if it closed at a higher day, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. This is exactly what we needed. Closed above this resistance by quite a bit. Next stop was here. Okay, $40. Let's have a close above 40. That would be nice. GDX closing above 40 today with the green day in both metals. That would be uh, pretty reasonable. How many percentage points? We got 12%. So there's more of a move in GDX than we have in silver. GDX will basically climb all the way up here with a small delay. Gold is always leading the pack, right? It's always leading the pack. That's fine. We're used to that too. Let's look at GDXJ. Same candle, exactly the same candle. This might even be a better candle. It's like easier to tell where the resistance is. Still close. I gave off like 1 or 2%. So next stop is 51, just before 51. I agree. How much percentage point till we get all the way up? 13. That looks nice. Now let's look at SILJ. I'm sorry, but it's all about SILJ. The silver stocks have so much catching up to do. And if silver, and I think it will, starts to go, 32, 30, and then 35. 35 silver is SILJ up here, 33%. Like I added up the value of my silver stocks yesterday, and if they were to go up 33%, that's quite a big move in my portfolio. My portfolio, by the way, is only like one good day away from new highs. And that's with, and you know how many silver stocks I own. So I think I'm pretty happy. I'll be making new highs, obviously, if silver's going to 35. So 32.5 on silver should be here for SILJ. 35 for silver honestly should be here or higher. You'd probably see it there or something. And then you've got that, like SILJ will be the last one to make new highs, but it will be the biggest mover now as long as everything sort of goes northwards. So yeah, and let's look at SIL, sorry, not the actual, there you go. I mean, that's okay, given where silver is. That's a nice big breakout there. Next stop up here, 4-5%. You know what I mean? We could get moves like that happening quite quickly. And then the breakout of this, because that's pretty big resistance here. You got the horizontal, you got the descending, right? You got those two areas. But I mean, if we've got real breakouts going on with gold heading obviously towards 3,000 and silver just taking out 32.30 and moving into that vacuum of 35, this thing will just cut through it like butter. So the good news is that the charts are in total breakout mode and we have a lot of room to run. Like I prefer this than SILJ being all the way up, SIL and SILJ being all the way up here. Even though the breakout is obvious, it's just not that much percentage here. The catch up is inevitable. And this has been happening with the markets going up or down. So we're kind of independent here. This is a pure move in the metals and the miners. We don't care about the dollar, yields, Nvidia, Nasdaq. We just don't really care. Now let's look at the portfolio. So, and again, I like this because Newmont's been okay. It hasn't been weak. It hasn't been really strong, but hasn't been weak. It's got so much upside, so much. And I don't care about your all-in sustaining costs. Gold is going to 3,000. You're going to have to rearrange the formula. So next stop, and I kind of tested it already. For me, I mean, all my resistance, I still agree with them. I really do. I don't see why I should change it really. I got this just before 44 kind of area. We might as well make it yesterday's high actually at this point. So about there. Need to zoom in actually on this. Um, but just so much upside. So imagine you've got gold hitting 3,000. I mean, this thing's gonna have to go to retest its like up here or something, really. Like we start making going towards 3,000, silver starts to lead the charge and also assist gold. At one point gold might think it's tired, but then silver's starting to charge to 35. Newmont's just going to be 50s. You know, it will be hard to go all the way back up here, but one piece of good news and gold continuing its move, I mean, you could have a one day where it's up like, 8% really. So Newmont, small resistance there. Next one up here. And I think that's something that's pretty realistic. We'll see. But Newmont looks good. Breakout mode, close better than all the last candles. Nice stuff. Barrick Gold, seriously, it's like, it just pisses me off this one. But anyway, broke out, closed. Interesting, closed at that high. Next stop for me, yes, correct. We got 6.5% until we got to like 1750. I kind of agree with that. I mean, come on. You can justify a move there, can't you? Gold starts to run like 28.30. You're gonna have to have a big move. And yesterday we had 3-4%, so it's pretty much another one of those moves, just a little higher. So Barrick Gold, still one that I want to trim on the way up. But there's no way I'm thinking of trimming now because you could make an argument for this thing to go all the way back up to the 19s at least, maybe even 20s. I mean, new highs, you could even say all the way back up here. So let's see. Barrick Gold has some room to run. Agnico-Eagle, this thing is just absurd. This is the best miner in the planet. I mean, it was already up here whilst gold was nowhere near its highs. I mean, I said it, this thing's making new highs. I said next stop 100. I thought that would take a few weeks, but this will probably take next week. Pre-market already new high. I mean, I have to almost play around with the chart just to get to where the next stop is, which is 5%. I mean, look, if Newmont and Barrick need to make a 6% move, I mean, it's for sure Agnico on that same kind of move will be testing 100. The next day, probably closing above it. Agnico is absolutely perfect. And look at that close. Much better than Newmont and Barrick Gold. It's just the strongest miner. If you really want guaranteed, in quotation marks, guaranteed wins, you just throw your money in Agnico-Eagle, basically, if you believe the thesis and the thesis is correct. So no other comment on Agnico-Eagle. It's just perfection. Pan American Silver. Wow. All right, that is perfection. Because because silver is going to make this move. And we'll look at the other stocks. They all had good moves, good days, but Pan American Silver is for me the best of the silver stocks. Fundamentally, it's a senior one. Its chart is good. It's got a lot of upside. And look at that breakout. That is some meaningful stuff. I mean, the day prior was just below, just on this resistance, the descending resistance. Gap and run, closing the high of day at the next resistance pre-market, a bit like Agnico-Eagle, just sort of opening at high of day yesterday. You got resistance here, whatever you want to call it, 24.30. If it's another good day, if gold just runs and silver basically outperforms, I don't know, can you go to the next level, which to me is this one here, 25, 3%? Of course you can. And then next week, you're basically testing the old highs. And you've got Pan America all the way back up, testing its high of 26, and we were below 20 not too long ago. And that's a nice 32% move in total. Beautiful stuff. This will break out before silver, that's for sure. So this is the best silver miner, really. Agnico and Pan America are just absolutely perfect. Just throw your money in those two. Amazing. I didn't even realize this stock closed that. I mean, that's absolutely perfect. Right, next one, Wheaton. Also very nice. Very nice. It was actually underperforming, I felt. Over here, it was like it was not breaking out whilst some others were, and Wheaton is like Agnico is probably the best gold miner, Pan America probably the best silver, and Wheaton probably best royalty. It's quite interesting. I got them back to back there. But this one was underperforming, but I mean, yesterday's move very nice. 4.5% is pretty good for Wheaton, even on a good day. Next stop for me is obviously here. That will be done immediately today. We'll probably open near there or something, test it, come back down. But let's see if gold and silver keep going up. Next stop will be here, 66. I mean, if you have a good day today, you could even get there. Again, 4.5% is what we did yesterday. And it's very, very near to the old highs. And before you know it, this will be in the 70s and making new highs because it's a fantastic company, good fundamentals, etc. So Wheaton, nothing but upside. Next one is Franco Nevada. Now, this one I keep forgetting about, but this one has outperformed Wheaton. It's the royalty that was, let me reset the chart so you can tell. It was underperforming for some time and it never got, and then went all the way back down there. And I did actually buy back down here near the lows. And up we went. I trimmed twice yesterday. I remember a 134, like 133.99, which was silly because it was early, but it was a good till cancel I had in already. So that was at the open. And the next one was there, a little trim there. And now it's just like blue skies. You would think 140 is a big level because of the number, but actually we know what's happening. We know gold's going highs. We know this is strong. 140, yeah, it'll probably stop off one day at 140. That would make a nice trade for one day. But I'm not willing to sell that. I think we're going to have to go for the big descending one here. So I'm going to be trimming around. It depends how long it takes, but to be honest, it probably won't take long. Around there-ish, like 145.99. That's probably my next sell for Franco Nevada, a little trim. But really outperformed, really good. Yesterday was another good day. Yes, they didn't close a high of day, but it's been moving quite well. So no complaints with the Franco Nevada. Now, Metalla, this little, Jesus Christ, this one's really annoying. I mean, nice move up here, small trims, should have sold more, came all the way back down. With the metals, it had bad news. Worst case, not all the way back down. At least we didn't go all the way down here, but still underperforming whilst everything else was sort of making small moves up. Yesterday, finally broke out of its little shell. Next stop, I don't see $3 as resistance. Already at closing the high of day. It's a nice move yesterday, but I'm looking for 320. That's where I think our first real resistance is. I think with what's happening in the background, that is something that can definitely happen. I don't see why people would go short this thing either. 10% move. You could have one very nice day, and that's there. Otherwise, too nice. I think next week we start testing 320 in Metalla. I think the metals will hold up. And I think 320 is definitely doable. And then you've got to try and grind our way back up here. This will take a bit of doing. There is resistance. It's a big move. Yes, if gold goes to 3,000, you've kind of got the justification for the move, but there's still levels of resistance you got to respect. People who are trapped who want to get out, who want to buy something else, shorts who want to start positions, longs who want to trim like me, or maybe sell full positions. There will be resistance on the way, but this chart is very nice. It's absolutely cheap. It's a good stock, and we have sort of perfect sales wind behind our sails, so we should see it climb at least. Right, next one is First Majestic. Now, this, came all the way down to low fives and actually perfectly hit that support level. This was mostly your support, but yeah, that was good. These two levels were very proud of that. Right now, resistance is where resistance is kind of like here-ish. Well, $6, yeah, which is where we closed. But we want more. We know we're going to get more. 614 is your next one. Now, this is really zoomed in granular resistance because it's probably going to be resistance for 5 minutes. If silver starts to climb, I'm sorry, but especially a well-known stock like First Majestic, it's just going to slice through this like it's not there, and it's not there. It'll be there for 5 minutes, it'll be like a 5 minute sort of intraday resistance, I think, but there's something there. Once we close above that, and I think today we could do that, and the next stop is up here, 680. We need to hit 680 because after 680, there's basically nothing else but testing 8 and the old highs. I mean, you could add this, but I don't even think that's relevant because by the time you start testing up here, and that's not really a strong resistance, yeah, you might as well be going for this. I'll leave it in, but I feel like this descending won't even count. I think the big one will be 8. I know it's ridiculous to talk about 8 when we're at 6, but once we take out this 680, which is the next real resistance, the next one is like a magnet to 8. And I think if we're at 3250 or something in silver, or making our way between 3250 and 35, we're we're definitely past 680. So I think the silver stocks have another big move ahead. I really do. So First Majestic looks like it's going to start climbing back to its first real resistance, and then the hardest part is over. Fortuna is next. That's beautiful. Look at that close the day before, and then bam, open up there, closed above that. Why is that resistance? Oh, it's $5. Okay, well, it's not anymore. It's the descending. I'll rearrange it to account for yesterday. Fine. This was kind of correct, though, to be honest, between five and I mean that was correct. I'll delete it because I've already trimmed Fortuna yesterday. Yeah, I did. There were a few good till cancels I had in across the board. Across the board, I had like 11 or 12 sells yesterday, but these were things that I'd hard coded in for some time. So I let them ride. There's obviously a reason. I put them in when I was completely sober after doing a crazy 3 hour deep analytics, a bit like this. So I don't want to get emotional, remove good till cancels. But I know Fortuna was one of them, and I know it was around $5. So happy with that. Remove that. Next stop is up here. Now, obviously, if we close outside this descending, we're good. And for me, a close above yesterday's high of day of five, let's call it 513, would mark a breakout of this descending. I think we can do better than that. I think we can go to the next horizontal, which is really the perfect way of illustrating a real breakout. So 530, I'm looking for 530, close around there. That might be a bit too much to ask for, though. No, 5% is fine. But yeah, you close outside this descending. Next stop, okay, 530. Then final stop is 550, and then you're in the gap. And we haven't been in the gap for absolutely ages, almost a year. So once we start trading the gap, we're not just going to close the gap and go back down. If you're trading within the gap, it's to go a little higher, especially if silver's at 35. So Fortuna looks like continuation of breakout and big percentage moves ahead. I really, really believe that. So Fortuna looks very good, probably better than First Majestic, but they both look good. Next one is my favorite, Coeur d'Alene. Very nice. This was your resistance. We basically opened at it, closed decently. How much percent? 7%, almost 8%. Beautiful. Okay, didn't close a high of day, but not many did. Next move is basically this one here, another 8%, no problem. If we've got silver above 32.30, I think you could have Curl basically testing this high, could be like 740, and then that's it. Blue skies. Like, imagine, let me just bring it back actually, right? Imagine you've got silver here at 32.50, right? Like we've cleared this 32.20, 30. That's what I keep referring to. This little area here, which is like something we could visit today. If we got silver here, and there's no resistance, I'm going to remove this. Let's not get too cute about it. If you got silver around here, trading above 32, like it's closed there, next day it's starting to move a little bit here. What do you think Coeur d'Alene is going to be doing? I mean, CDE, if you got silver there, let's say 32.50, CDE, right, is going to be here and it's going to break out. It doesn't care about this 776. That's nothing. It's like the real level is up here, 750. So what happens next is we start making a move to 9. And that is a big move, right? Just from here, that's another 20%. And that will happen fast. And then you're gonna have to zoom out and look at this absolute long-term descending. And then I'll trim a bit. But CDE, a lot of these silver stocks look like they're gonna start making big moves. And remember SILJ? SILJ is 30% off its high. So CDE is completely poised for breakouts if we've got any sort of continuation in silver or SILJ, which is a derivative anyway of this. The CDE looks amazing. Fortuna looks amazing. First Majestic looks good. What have I got? Oh yeah, Silver Crest. That's basically a mirror copy of CDE, right? I mean, they almost help each other. Descending, that'll be taken out today probably. That's why CDE, I'm looking at moves just a bit higher than your first resistance because I think it's inevitable. It's like the next move is the one up here. All right, Hecla looks okay too. It was also one that was struggling a bit here. Look at this descending. It's like descending, retesting. Yesterday finally broke out. Did give back a lot. Fair enough. But whatever. Maybe today we can go back. Actually, now it's a bit more obvious. It was the high of these. Look at that. I'll just put that in. Might not be too relevant, but next stop is up here, 616. Is $6 resistance? Not at all. Strangely enough, I see nothing there. And then back up we go. But to be honest, I remember Hecla was, over here, just this ugly candle. I remember it just came back down, new lows when others were not making new lows. So fair enough. It's probably one of the weakest ones. Had a good day yesterday, above over 5%, probably something like 8 at the high of day. Let's just see if we can climb and close above 6 and test basically this level here, this 615. Then we can start trading in this old range here, this sort of from the 620s to the high sevens. But we've got a few resistance levels on the way, so this will be one of the ones that encounters a bit of resistance. EXK, interesting, it closed at resistance, but above 4. So I'm going to say above resistance. Well, anyway, new resistance is yesterday's high of day. Let's just do it like this. Um, and then we've got several levels, but EXK has always been one to be able to make a nice strong punch out of resistance. I mean, look at this. It came all the way back down here, made new lows compared to here, back then. And then it just, I'll never forget this. I mean, it's clear in the picture, made new highs. And here, we have not made new lows. We didn't go down here into the twos. No, we based around mid threes. And now we're starting to make a run up, and obviously SILJ has a long way to go. Silver has some catching up to do with gold, etc., etc. But if that plays out, and I think it will, EXK can very quickly find itself at the next level, little 13%. That's done in 1 day, 2 days, 2 or 3 very, very moderate days. It's there. And the rest is just routine, like, okay, take out the next level. However, it's still got 40% to do. And that kind of coincides with SILJ. So if SILJ starts to make its climb up, I think EXK will outperform SILJ. It's one of the biggest movers, EXK. I mean, it's sometimes competing with CDE and sometimes has better days than CDE, like yesterday. So EXK chart looks good. It looks good in terms of it wants to break out and continue as long as the metals help. And there's a lot of percentage upside. I don't mind it being down here. Maybe better to be down here than to be here and face resistance with fewer percentage moves. So no problem holding EXK. Next one, Mag Silver. Now this one, It's a bit like Pan America, to be honest. It's it's a big boy, and it's outperforming. You can tell already. It's quite close to its highs, unlike EXK, Hecla, and maybe one or two others. So yeah, no, that's quite good. Let me look at how much a percentage move between where it closed and where its old high is. 10%-ish. So today, I mean, look, if you have silver going to 32.50, you're probably going to be testing yesterday's high of day. And by the way, this now moves up here. Um, and if we start going towards 35, this is going to make new highs above 18. Very strong. And I noticed it like yesterday was also quite good. This day here, Wednesday was quite good. It's been outperforming relative to its peers for a bit. But yesterday was another good day, really. Mag Silver, almost 7%. At one point, it was way more. One or two good days, and you're basically above 18. So looks very, very good. Although, what tells this pre-market? I don't believe that. It's either had bad news or it's some fake low volume thing. We'll have to see about that. But otherwise, it looks good. I'll check that out later. Next one is Aris Mining. This one I haven't followed too deeply. This is more of a gold play. Not That's actually maybe the worst chart I'm looking at so far. I mean, you'd at least expect it to have tested this 390, but no, and it gave back quite a bit. It's got some weird spread involved. Okay, well, let's see. I mean, no point in selling it or anything like that. Let's just see how far it can go before gold starts to struggle or silver starts to struggle. But I'm in no hurry to sell anything at all. This should encounter resistance at 390. I mean, already yesterday's high of day might be something to deal with. And then after that, I got this 415. So I'll just let this one marinate. Next one, I am gold. That's really nice. Really nice. I mean, it's been strong. I've made a few of the last videos I made that observation. It's strong. Some of the others, relatively speaking, they're all down here, like testing their lows, whilst this thing was climbing on red days. So the fact that it's here, not surprising. In fact, I thought it would have made a new high, but gold makes a new high today. This is tracking gold basically. The chart looks really similar if you give it a bit of rope. So today what happens? We're going to make new highs. I'm just checking why I've got these 650 is your next level, and then $3,000 gold. We're probably up here. We're probably higher. And then it gets scary for the shorts because where is your next resistance? This can explode. This is a very good company from the little I know, right? I'm no expert on the gold companies, but from the little I know, this is one to hold long term. And if gold is going up, this thing really makes the return. So this should just track gold, and gold's going to 3,000. So end of story. This is a good hold. Next one, B2 gold. Yeah, this is the disappointing one with the geopolitics and the Mali situation, which is probably another reason why Barrick Gold is being weighed down. I mean, the support held, but I mean, gold's at new all-time highs. I hate owning stocks that are destroyed. And I was looking at some of these junior trashies that I used to own, like Rain Silver, right? What is that? Imagine I still held this. I forgot where I got out. One of these areas, 30 cents. I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. And where is it now? It's at 5. Can you imagine? New yesterday, when gold's making new all-time highs, you got this one making a new gap low down 13% for whatever reason, some news, some the usual junior stuff. But anyway, I don't know why I'm reflecting on that one, but it does remind me a little bit of B2 Gold's weakness. Now, B2 Gold, the good news is there should be very little downside because we had very bad news at the money offering, and it just had a beautiful close day. And then since then, we've actually, to be fair, we've come back from the offering already. So it should mean nothing but good news ahead, and the metals price should move us back up here. So yesterday wasn't great, but you gotta appreciate what we've just gone through. And in the end, if you hold a position or if you want to own a position, you got to know that it's probably better to buy and hold than to sell. I mean, why would you sell this? Why would you sell it now? I mean, if you think it's going to go down, yeah, but I don't see that. Next stop for me is up here, 10% move to 270. Then we'll see. It's just going to have to climb its way back out. This will take gold going up, and it'll probably take some news from the country or the company. I kind of regret getting into this one. I did one or two profitable trades, but it would have been better to just throw the money in Agnico-Eagle or Pan America or Wheaton or CDE, right? It's about where your money makes you better return. So I'll hold this, I'll trim, I'll probably get out with some decent profit overall, but I just don't need to deal with the geopolitics. So I think I regret this one a little bit. Who knows? There could be some good news and it just gaps up 30%, then the whole thing's worth it, and I can call myself a genius. Next one is Equinox. This one reminds me of I Am Gold a little bit. Yeah, it gave back quite a wow, 3% is okay. So it's all about 650, right? Yesterday's high of day will be a resistance, but it's all about 650. Nothing else matters. Very, very nice chart. Look at this ascending. One, two, three pivots. It's just perfect. Triangular shape, let's say. 650. You close above that, it's over. Up we go. $7. I've got something, but it's not strong. Then 750, maybe it's a bit stronger. And then boom, $9. This can make good money. If this year, 2025, gold holds and runs and goes to 3,000 and then 3,100 and silver starts to go at 35, 36. If you start to have moves like that, this kind of stock, a lot, I mean, all these stocks will make a lot of money, but this one is pretty certain. It's solid, it has a lot of upside, and I think it's very much leveraged to the increase in the price of metals, like I am gold. So this is just one I'd be happy to hold and trim very lightly because trimming is like almost psychological for me, but I'm sure that it will just rise. And in the end, I'm trimming at 650, I'm trimming at 699, and then, 7 months from now, it's at 860. But I won't regret those trims. I know why I do it. But this looks absolutely wonderful. Watch out for 650, or rather, the shorts should watch out for 650. SSRM, another one, bit like I Am Gold and Equinox, right? Look at the chart, testing the highs, especially I Am Gold. Another one. Boom. Now, I already sold all these moves. I trimmed on this squeeze, and it was a beautiful squeeze. And I didn't buy back. I was buying other stocks. Fair enough. I think I may have made even more on the other ones because of the percentage move. But here we curled and go back up above resistance, so extra strong. And here we are, a little handle and break. Basically, just like I am gold. What happens now? We've got to start closing above 830, which we'll probably do today. 840 would be even better, real confirmation. And then it's just fill the gap. Fill the gap at 920, 920, let's say. So I think I have sells in at 899 or maybe 889. Sometimes I do that just to be completely sure. And then here I probably have mini sells like 913, 919, and then maybe 929, just tiny ones. And then I think, okay, in case we overshoot, 979, I'm guessing now. I'm not reading from anything. But yeah, I'm just machine gunning my way out. And as soon as this one feels weak because it's done its job, I'm sure it can go to 10. I mean, this thing deserves to probably be in 15s or something, or maybe high teens. But as soon as I feel like it's a bit weak, then I'm out and I'm gonna spread that love, all the proceeds into the best of the best, the Pan Americans, the Agnicos, because I bought this down here. I I liked this at 10. I was like, I mean, imagine, just forget SSRM's drop. It's like, look at this. We're all the way down at COVID lows. I was like, this is a good buy. And the next day it flushes down to 4, and I was about to buy. Well, I was really considering. I'm like, all right, I'm definitely buying now. I don't even care what the news is. And then I find out it's a landslide, and I know that that's just temporary. So I say that to say this the buying I did was just to fill the gap. Gold was gonna like take out 2000. I forgot, but gold was looking like it could make a nice move up. I thought I'd get a nice bounce. I used to do this day trading Chinese stocks, and this was the kind of thing I might buy sometimes. Except it's a very good gold miner that I wanted when it was more than 100% higher. So, point is, once this fills the gap, I got to remember that's why I bought it. You know, I didn't buy it to well, I was going to buy it down here, but I bought it. The day I bought it was to fill the gap. And once that's done, and if it starts to feel weak, I'm literally going to dump it and put it elsewhere because it's very hard to imagine when it's at 10 that it can start moving percentage wise more than these. So I've got my sells in. It's just I may have to drop a big sell and close the position if it starts to fill the gap and feel a bit, exhausted. So beautiful. It's doing its job. Finally, SBSW, not really gold play, but multi-metals. But look at that, closed at resistance, very obvious resistance for me. Price support, resistance, gapping up here. Next level is 430. These are big moves, by the way. And if we start to see more than just the gold and silver going up, but like commodities, copper and rhodium and all these other ones that I don't even know, then this thing will absolutely make monumental moves. 50% to go up there. And to go even higher, just ridiculous numbers. So this one is an absolute, for me, it's a buy and hold because it's worth like, I don't know, 3 to 4K when it's up here. And then it's worth like a lot less down here, but I don't care. I just hold it. And if it's going to make a move to 10, then it's going to be a beautiful thing. And if it goes all the way down to 0, then it is what it is, but it won't do that. All right, that will do. Wish I'd done this last night, but I just couldn't. I'm a bit mobile, so that's why there's no video. And hopefully this is at least of some value before the market open in 2 hours. But I think it will be nonetheless anyway. And I'll make another one during the weekends. All right, good luck and enjoy.